I'll just get started with Tamin because I'm sure that's going to come up at some point. So he's continuing to progress every single day. We just finished practice. He's going to do some additional evaluations with our medical staff this afternoon. He's trending in a good direction. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't want him to feel, any pressure to need to play or feel like he has to play. I want it to be when he feels great, he returns. And so, again, we'll just stay on day to day because it literally could be any day that, when it's more really just how he feels and that he has all the burst and explosiveness that we saw him playing with at the start of the year. And I want him to be fully healthy before, he steps back out. But progress has been great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
With Purdue, is there a more, complete team when you look at Smith's playmaking ability, the way he can score? Kaufman, Wren, and Clough on the glass, both 10-plus rebounds. How do you go about attacking a team that's that, complete?
So I say this because I care about you and you're my friend, and I respect you a lot. But anything on Alcorn I'll talk about, but anything beyond that, we're not even going to get into. Our guys are focused on this game tomorrow, and all of our intent and energy and effort is going into this game tomorrow. For us, we truly believe in that culmination and building of our daily habits every single day, and the best way to play well tomorrow is to have a great practice and film session today, and the best way to continue to be at our best is to focus on what's right in front of us, so that's what we'll do.
Yeah, that's my bad.
All good?
With the way Killian has scored the basketball, particularly as of late, is that something you talked about the defense being there, his habits, all those things, but his ability to get to the rack and score and also drop in that three a game seems like a steal dunk is happening every game. Just how would you describe his offense and how that's accelerated?
Yeah, he's done a remarkable job with how he's continued to work and as a result develop his confidence. So where I've been most impressed is in the half court. A lot of times for younger guards, they can get sped up, and he seemingly keeps things going at his pace and his speed. He's done a really good job at keeping the dribble, getting all the way to the basket, getting a reverse layup, or finishing off with a spin around the goal. And he's a tremendous athlete in there, so he gets off the floor. So that's been the most impressive part. The consistency in his shot, it's every day. I feel like what we see in the game is what we see. Like he's consistently knocking down catch and shoot threes. And then when he's able to be disruptive in the open court, get a steal, live ball steal, and go in and dunk it, that not only gives him great energy and confidence, it really positively impacts our team. So again, he puts in the work. He's as consistent as we've seen, and his performances are attributable to everything he does every day.
I know with Tamman, you guys have always been really thoughtful and intentional about his health and treatment and his practice load. When he has essentially back-to-back injuries, is it just more of the same for that, or do you have to even take that to another level going forward?
I think the great thing about Tamman is he knows, based on what he's been through, how important it is to be honest. And maybe at some times when he was younger, he might say, I feel great when he doesn't. And I think he knows now that doing that could have further repercussions. So we're very mindful, intentional. I want to be the best, better, or as good as any coach in the country can be, having his back to make sure that we make great decisions in his best interest. That really matters to me. And so it's with a lot of communication, a lot of intentionality that, we're going to get it right, as opposed to feeling like, we need to rush him back.
With how well you guys played without him, what did you learn about what this team is capable of when he does come back, or how you can play combinations with him on the bench when he needs rest?
Yeah, I think teams can establish a level of play, even when they're void, a star like Tamman is for us, who means so much to our team. And our guys maintain a standard of, this is how we play, this is the level we're going to play at. And so what's happened is you've seen Joshua's playmaking, take a step forward and be phenomenal. 10 assists, no turnovers last game. You see Killian's emergence. You've seen other guys continue to step up. You've seen Milan's consistency, scoring the basketball, his confidence and his energy. and then the opportunities we've been able to get for the other guards and continue to develop, whether it's Nelson, Bateman, across the board. So I think everybody's continued to take a step forward. I think even like Nate Heisey's a guy that impacts winning in so many ways that doesn't show up in the stat sheet a lot, but he was very physical defensively on the glass, driving the ball. So I just think everybody takes a step forward, and we are fortunate that our guys are really connected and did that, and that we didn't skip a beat.
How much of rebounding is a mindset than it is technique and positioning?
Yeah, I think mindset is, again, for me in almost all things, I'll take the mindset over the technical or the physical piece, because I think that our minds are extremely powerful. And when you make up your mind that this is something you're going to do, that I'm going to demand this effort from myself, and if I demand that effort, the production's going to follow. We've seen it from guys. I mean, shoot, when Melvin Edgem was here and he led the league in rebounding, he declared it before he did it, right? He said, I'm going to lead the league in rebounding at 6'5" and change. And so to me, I think that mindset and mentality, I've seen guys have it and it goes their way. And I look at a guy like Blake Buchanan and what he's done. And if you look at down the stretch in that St. John's game, 6 of our last 13 points were scored because Blake had 3 offensive rebounds, 2 that he finished and 1 that ended up in free throws that he converted. And that was with 4 fouls in a tough game. So it shows up for you in the most key moments. We've talked to our guys a lot about that you're not going to make the big offensive rebounding play in the balance of a game if you don't do it every single day. And I think what we saw from our guys is that byproduct of those habits and that mindset. And, and then it goes to the other things. Certainly the physical and the 2 hands and all those things are part of it. But I think it starts with the mental commitment.
And how much does establishing yourselves in the interior on both ends of the court open up what you guys want to do?
It is essential to everything we want to do. We want to control the paint on both ends. We control it defensively by tremendous ball pressure and being in gaps defensively, guys, being prepared to do their job early. Offensively, it's a mindset and a mentality and a toughness to continue to get into the paint. And it's been something that we've been able to be successful in terms of paint points against the majority of our opponents, where we're scoring more baskets in the paint at the rim, and then we're preventing those for the most part on the other end. So that's been very good for us, and that allows us to get the shots from 3 we want as well.
Back to mindset, how have you seen Milan progress in his, fearlessness to not stop shooting from the start of the season?
Yeah, he's continued to elevate his confidence. I mean, in terms of habits and consistency and work ethic, like Milan's in the gym as much or more than anybody, and that's been true for his entire time here. For him, as he's continued to take those steps forward, what I really like is where he's being aggressive, attacking a closeout. He's being aggressive, cutting off the basketball. He's being aggressive, keeping his dribble, getting to the rim. And then I feel like when you have that aggressive mindset and mentality, more threes, you're aggressive with your footwork and how you attack those shots, and your teammates tend to look for you more. So he's making a lot of impactful plays in other areas on the glass. He's getting some steals. He's having some, what we call collisions, guarding the basketball. So he's doing a lot of things that is making him a more consistent, scorer. And I think you've got to count for him every possession and know where he is and try to take him off that 3. And that tends to open things up for him and for others. So he's really locked in mentally, and he just needs to keep staying in that spot and that focus, and things will continue to go his way.
With Killian, you talked about the pickpocket and dunks the other way. I was counting. I think he's had 1 in every game, but 1 or 2. What does that do for the team when he can just shut down a possession like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge energy play for your team. I mean, when you're going from a defensive possession to essentially a 1-on-0 situation where you end up with a dunk, and the energy that goes along with that, that can galvanize your team and uplift everybody's spirits. And I think for Killian, he takes such pride in guarding the basketball that it also elevates the standard for everybody else. When you see somebody competing to that extent defensively, it makes everybody have a higher accountability of what they're going to give in terms of how they defend. So those are huge plays for us, huge energy plays, and proud of Killian, and we need him to keep doing it.
You haven't shied away from your relationship with Tamin. I guess just emotionally, how hard was it for you to see him go down in that St. John's game and get the reports back from your staff?
Yeah, I mean, your heart hurts for him because of everything he's been through, and he means the world to me. He's done so much for me, our program, our team, everybody here. He lays it on the line every single day, and you just want to feel like there's a right thing, and the right thing is he deserves to be healthy for this last go around for his senior year based on what he puts into it, the character he exudes, and just who he is. And so, yeah, I was, I don't know. I'm sure I quickly got to him in real time and wanted to be there for him and support him. And then, you immediately, your mind says, please don't let this be the worst. Please don't let this be something that's going to keep him out for the year for a long period of time. He doesn't deserve that. And then, as time evolved and we continued to evaluate it, and now that we're seeing the progress, you can kind of exhale a little bit. But he means the world to me, and I'm so grateful and appreciative for what he does every single day.
I want to go back to Milan. I think he shooted about 49% from three. Within that, you guys challenged him to shoot at a much higher volume from three-point range. How important do you think it was for him to see him fall at a high rate early in the season as that challenge was placed on him by your staff?
Well, I think opening night was a big game for him, and he came out and he shot the ball extremely well. And once he sees it go through a couple times, then it's just going to go from there. I mean, he and I talked candidly coming into the year that, it's if you get 10 attempts a night, even a bad shooting night for him is going to be 3 for 10, and that's not that bad. And when he's shooting it from the perimeter and we're giving tremendous effort and energy on the glass, hopefully we can still get 3 or 4 of those misses and convert those to points. So there's only good scenarios for our team when he's hunting and being aggressive from 3. So I do think that first game really pushed his confidence forward. I do think our first game in Vegas against St. John's helped to take another step. And again, we see him do it every single day, but now he's showing everybody else night in and night out, regardless of opponent, regardless of situation, that he's going to be, he's going to step up for us.
Last one that I have, obviously coming out of a big week in Vegas, you have a huge game against Purdue on Saturday, but this game could be considered like a trap game. How important is it for this to be a test of the day-to-day, the game-to-game approach that you challenge your team with every single day?
Yeah, I mean, we've been very direct in our approach and preparation for this game. We've been demanding in terms of the standards and the things that need to show up for us. And we're going to be very intentional from the jump ball of what it looks like defensively, what our transition defense looks like, how we guard the basketball, how we keep the ball out of the paint, how we finish possessions on the glass. And we do those things and we play off of our defense, things go well for us. And I think, we have to understand that is who we are and that's our identity, and that's where all of our focus needs to be. Because when we do those things and we get out in transition and play for each other, that's when we play our best. That's when we have the most fun, and that's when our guys are really, playing Cyclone basketball the way that we want to do it.
You talked about the steal and dunk plays from Killian being energy plays. How much do you guys value those beyond the 2 points or an extra possession or a basket save?
Yeah, those are, they're worth far more than 2 points. I think, when we had Hassan Ward and he would get a lob, we would tell our guys those are worth 8 to 10 just because of the impact it has on the game. And so I don't have exact number of what I think it quantifies to, but it's far more than 2 because you're putting hesitancy on the other point guard. So you're that's going to create more turnovers by him doing that. The dunk gets the crowd going, it gets your teammates going, it gets the energy in the gym going. So it's definitely not obviously you're taking the ball out of their hands, so probably a 2 to 3 point swing on one end, then 2 on the other end. So, again, it's worth no less than 5-6 points, I'd say, at a minimum. And it's just what it does for your team, the momentum it creates, the energy it creates. And we're just fortunate to have a guy that takes such pride in doing that and putting his body on the line and defending every single night.